Keita Cole.
Love Talk Radio.
What up, Rob?
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander.
How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26 or the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
Hey, Tim, man. This is episode 478, right? And we've had that theme song since like episode 2 or 3, I believe. But that joint still go hard every time I hear it, man. First of all, shout out to Up and Coming Productions still all these years later, because that beat knocked. And shout out to Dirty Dame for lacing the track. The crazy part about it is Dame don't know, like 9 years later, how crazy some of the stuff he said in the verse, like how everything has kind of come to fruition since then. Especially the Kuwait line. Shout out to Doc Bay. That's crazy. But let's get into this, man. Yeah, that joint crazy. But War Room family, what's up?
Shout out to 4 from 26 and Freddie Mitchell. He made an appearance on one of our platforms this past week.
No doubt, 4 from 26 was in the building on one of our social media platforms last week. Did Ruben ever holler at him? We're going to get Freddie Mitchell on just so he could talk greasy about anybody we name.
About anybody.
We should create a Freddie Mitchell game. Just call it Talking Greasy with FedEx and just name people and just let them go greasy on them. But what up, everybody? We're good. We just had to we had to show some love, man. Like I said, 478 episodes in. Our song still slapped like that. I know y'all were bobbing your head as it came in. But I'm here at the round table with my bro, Jimmy the Blueprint. Of course, you are once again live in the War Room. The sports world this week, and I know because Jimmy and I, we talked about it. We didn't really talk. We didn't give our 2 cents because we always, we used to do that all the time. But now, that we got the platform, that we've had it all over all these years, we try not to talk too in depth about stuff that goes on during the week because we always got to save it for Thursday at 6 o'clock. But the sports world for much of the week has been discussing the fatherly exploits of one LeBron James, and we're finally gonna give our 2 cents on that. I think, Jim, during the week, we kind of gave, in the chats and everything, we kind of gave our opinion on maybe how we felt about the topic at whole. Like, why are people still talking about this? Or why are people hating on this or whatever? But we got to jump in. We got to give our 2 cents. We're not going to spend too much time on it because we both feel that the debate is a little bit silly. But we will talk about it. So keep it locked next 2 hours. If you want to get in on the conversation, you can sign in right now to the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room. Or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Before we get started, always got to give some shout-outs to the people on our network. Because, if during the week, if you're not doing anything, man, you're sitting at your office, sitting at your desk, doing nothing, you can check out the War Room Sports Podcast Network. You can do that at warroomsports.com or on the War Room Sports mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blog Talk, Anchor. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can pretty much find the War Room, and you can find the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Shout out to some of the shows on the network. Shout out to Roy and Chris of the Broad Street Line. Roy and his wife Chanel of John Appetit. Jimmy had the pleasure of working the what's it called? The Philly Podcast Festival.
Yeah, Philly Pod Week.
Yeah,
it's a festival. It's a festival every week for Philly Podcast. We'll probably be on the joint next year, but this year I had the pleasure of sitting down with Roy and Chris of the Broad Street Line and doing a live episode, which is crazy. We had a little crowd there cheering us on, and a fight almost broke out about Donovan McNabb, and so that
people still rumbling over him.
Dog, always like it's funny how polarizing McNabb is, and that's like however many years later. But salute to those gentlemen, man. I had fun. That was fun. So salute to them. But also real
defenders
quick,
though, they get greasy.
Yeah. Yo, real quick before you finish a shout out to the network, I want to shout out to Tobias because he just sent us a message and said he just realized that B. Austin's on load management tonight. So I found that pretty humorous, man. So shout out to Tobias.
Yeah, he out on your side of the world, your side of the country, Tobias. He's not in AZ, but he out in CA. So he on the same time you on. And actually, I'll be out in California on Sunday, so I'll probably be load managing next Thursday.
What part of Cali you going to?
I'm gonna be in Anaheim, so might check out the little mouse. Going to the Heim.
You in them parts?
Yeah, Mike Troutland. Go out and see what's happening with the Angels, the California Angels of Anaheim, whatever they're calling themselves these days.
That's a dumbass name.
But yeah, so shout out to those guys, man. Shout out to After Further Review with the mayor. Just everybody on the network, man. We appreciate what y'all do. Gus Griffin, who holds down the blog for us. Shout out to him as well. We'll be talking to Gus in a matter of weeks. He's gonna come on and give you guys his handicapped NFL picks every week. He had a better year last year than he had the year before. He always finishes strong though, so at least he hasn't left you guys yet with a sub 500 year.
Shout out to the mayor for having a huge following, and I love his show because he gets on and cusses out his own audience, and they cuss each other out, and somehow it works, so they sit there and cuss each other out. But
I know, and sometimes when the mayor be cussing people out, like it don't be nobody like on the phone lines or nothing. He just remember what people be saying. We should start doing that because I get frustrated with the stuff that happens on our social media pages. So I'm about to start just cussing people out on the air for no reason. I've seen this today. F you. But shout out to all of those guys, man. All right, man. It's as usual, man. This is America, so it's been a crazy week. We got all the political stuff going on with the Democratic debates, and the 1,600 candidates they got, and everybody's one thing. It's like nobody's going at each other. I mean, they've gone at each other, but they're not doing it with the fervor that they used to because, like, everybody has one common enemy, and that's Donald Trump. So they're like, it seems like they want to kind of tiptoe around each other a little bit because they're so desperate to get him out. They're like, all right, well, I don't want to expose this person too much because if they end up winning the nomination, I don't want what I expose to prevent them from beating Donald Trump. So Trump got everybody shook. I know you were posting some stuff earlier about how he just let his hands go on a couple people this week. Al Sharpton, shout out to him. China. Who else he let his hands go on this week?
Yo, dog, he can let his hands go lately on everybody. Elijah Cummings, like, he got his Twitter fingers, man. But
I've never seen anything like this, man. What a world! What a time to be alive.
But I think that he completely has changed everything. Like a lot of us, think we're going to go back to a certain way, but I think that's done.
Yeah.
I think he's changed it.
Yeah. I mean, especially it's still going to be hard to find somebody with the cojones of a Donald Trump to hold that office. But yeah, it will be. I think it'll definitely be different from the norm, but it'll meet somewhere in the middle. Like he went full extreme on it. I mean, because he's not the first president to let his hands go, but he's the first president to let his hands go publicly. I mean, we saw some stuff this week with Reagan calling people from African country monkeys. So it's not like nobody was shocked, nobody was surprised. But that's kind of the stuff. It proves like. All of these dudes are pretty much the same. They just do it behind
the worst part about that audio. Well, a couple things. First of all, what's up with your man Nixon? Nixon just taped everything, cause I'm pretty sure he probably got some. He got some young ladies out there. He probably against without them knowing, without their
Monica
consent.
Lewinsky's mother. Monica Lewinsky's aunt or somebody.
But the thing is, his laugh on that email, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was like, no, I ain't gonna say that. I'm just gonna say this. His laugh on that email that video, audio rather, made it absolutely worse. Although what the former President Reagan was saying was reprehensible, but his laugh, I'm like, yo, this is how they talk to each other.
Yeah.
He was so comfortable.
Reagan was like, I ain't got time for these.
Yo, that's Ronald Reagan, man.
And Reagan's a hero to a lot of people, and I guarantee that what came out this week is not going to change that for anybody. It don't matter.
No, they're gonna say it was the time. Yeah, that's what they're gonna say.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some hot topics, man. Hot topics, of course, are brought to you by my bookie, War Room. Still haven't checked out my bookie. This is a great time to get acclimated and start doing your thing. Lay down some cash on the biggest games in sports. You could join us and thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag. If you guys are tired of getting that runaround from the other services or them street bets you be out there making, if you're tired of getting ass bet, try my bookie. If you win, they pay fast, no hassle. They're not going to Equifax you. You're wasting your time sports betting anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting, so you can place wagers after the games even start. So join now. My bookie will match your first deposit up to $1,000. Just use the promo code WARROOM, all caps, to activate this offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, and get paid. Shout out to Equifax for ass betting the whole country. Yo, how you gonna do that?
How about?
How you gonna do that?
I know. I was looking forward to my $1.25, man.
Yeah, you knew from the gate that you only had $31 million, but you also knew from the gate, when somebody say free money, it's gonna spread like wildfire. So I ain't trying to hear that. I'm cool with a cutoff. Like, give me my $1.25, and whoever came after us, they too late. Like,
yeah,
I don't want no check for 13 cents. Yeah, they true. I don't want no check for 13 cents. Or like somebody said today, I mean, if you're not gonna give me my 125, you can give me 125 points on that credit score. I'm trying to have that that Caucasus Mountain credit score. Anyway, sad news in the sports world. Pro Football Hall of Famer Nick Buoniconti dies at age 78. The undersized linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. I'm not even going to front like I was around to see Nick Buoniconti play. His claim to fame, to me, is on HBO on the original Inside the NFL. They used to be one of my favorite shows weekly. I've tried to watch the more recent version of it, and it's a little bit more difficult. I don't know if it's the show or people just change over the years. I don't be trying to watch.
No, I think that show was what it was because at the time there wasn't 24/7 news cycle, and that was like it wasn't that much. So like if you love like football back in the day, there was only so many platforms you can go to get entertained about it. Now with so much with 24/7 news cycle and with social media, where you know everything already. Like it doesn't hit the same.
That's true. Back then, all you had was Chris Berman and Doodle Lips, doing the rundowns, the highlight package after the games. So then you waited till, was it Thursday, I think, for Inside the NFL to come on, and they put like a dramatic spin on all their highlights. They all had music, slow motion, and all that kind of stuff. So it was dramatic as hell. But you definitely got a point there. Now you get music, slow motion, and all that on Twitter 5 minutes after the game or during the game. So it's really like no highlights that you haven't seen because highlights are everywhere now. But back then, like I said, for most of us, it was just two places you can get them. ESPN right after the games, and then Inside the NFL. You couldn't wait to see your team on Inside the NFL.
Yo, these days, right, you get highlights as they happen on someone's IG story. Like, I wonder how much money do they make like that. Like each person, if you have a smartphone, you're a media company at this point.
Yo, but we be putting you on demand with that. Something happened. We like, yo, Jim, we need that gift card. We need that. I still don't know. In 2019, if it's gift or GIF.
In 2019, you just find it. Like, it's just there. Listen, the internet, man. Internet, man, is something that's going to be studied for the rest of our life. Like, because there's a lot of good and a lot of bad that came with it. But, you know.
Right. Gift and the curse. No doubt. It is definitely the gift and the curse. All right. So, you know, rest in peace to Nick Bonacani, who dies at age 78. Speaking of highlights, man, there's been, this just goes to your point, man, because I'm about to talk about a damn pickup game on a national internet show. I'm about to talk about a pickup game because they got highlights of pickup games now. This is like the third version of highlights showing Ben Simmons playing in a pickup game this summer where he's actually taking and stroking jump shots. Did you see this last one?
I did. And the crazy part is,
this is one of the things. Go ahead.
He's taking shots that he wouldn't normally take in the course of a season. But it's starting to scare me because a couple of those shots were just bad shots. And I'm like,
right, if he starts tripping like that.
Yeah, Ben gonna start tripping and just letting his hate like, oh y'all wanted me to shoot these last couple of years? I'm gonna make up for it. I feel like Ben gonna go there and make up for it in one season.
There's a lot of one-legged fall to the side, not even fadeaways, fall to the side jump shots off the dribble.
Yeah, he have to get his dirt on, and it looks stupid because he's left-handed.
Right, and that's one thing because when we posted it on our Facebook page, somebody noticed that. They were like, you know, this is all good and all, but I haven't seen one shot where he squares up to the basket and, you know, actually shoots a textbook jump shot. I'm like, look, man, yeah, this is what y'all asked for. I don't know if it's ever going to be like that. I think he's going to do what he's comfortable in doing. And I don't think that's ever going to be what he's comfortable with doing. But it's crazy how, you know, we talk about the internet being the gift and the curse. Why is everybody on the internet so evil? Like, a lot of things I post on our Facebook page, I post. If I don't tell you or B. Austin or anybody, like, personally before I do it, I'm thinking in my head, all right, I'm going to post this now. Watch this. Watch all the hate come out. Man, you post that. This is what everybody who's hating asked him to do. Because, you know me, I'm not, like, I don't think that whole jump shot deficiency is the biggest deal in the world like everybody else makes it with Ben Simmons. But the same people who do, as soon as he shows some progress, then they got, like, negative stuff to say about that. He in the gym. He in a high school gym. Somebody said they can't take the video seriously because there was an East Bay poster on the wall. Somebody else said, how are we going to get better playing against inferior competition? Yo, just because they were in a high school looking gym or a rec center doesn't mean, like, if you look on the court, everybody on the court was NBA, you know, talent.
A jump
one
shot is
former
a jump
NBA
shot,
dude, Big Baby. Yo, people found everything negative.
The one thing I recognize is the internet is a hateful place, man. I told you when I stopped questioning that when I saw someone give a shout out to their mother and people came on that status hating, like, you ain't shot your dad out there. I'm like, yo, boy was just like, yo, you know what I mean? Love my mom. She always been there for me. Just want to, you know, give my mom a shout out. And people came on that status hating.
Right now, then.
I'm like, yo, if you hate on that, if you hate on that, you hate on anything, man. So, you know, that's just the world we live in, man. It's
hateful. It's place,
ridiculous.
Man. Yo, this is what y'all asked for. So nobody, when he, you know, showing some progress, nobody say, okay, Ben, that's what we wanted you to do. Just start doing that in the game, get your confidence up. Yo, everybody just took aim at the dude, man. Talked about the gym he was playing in. Talked about the competition he was playing against. Yo, I saw Mike Beasley in this one, because remember the other one, he was playing with Devin Booker. He was playing with Andrew Wiggins, a couple other dudes. On the other one, I saw his brother-in-law, Tristan Thompson, in that video, and you know, some more people. This one, I saw one of the Harrison twins. I saw a dude who looked like Kyrie, but I don't think it was Kyrie. Big Baby was there, former NBA player. I said Mike Beasley. Julius Randle was there. Rodney Hood was there. So I'm like, all right. So I wanted to ask him, like, what do you mean inferior competition? These are NBA players. But then you don't want to ask people because you don't want to get roped into stupid-ass conversations on the internet. Because once you tell them that, nobody's going to say, oh, my bad, I didn't notice it was those dudes. They're going to dig deeper. So it's like, you just got to let it go. You just got to let people say what they're going to say because nobody, like, my bad is just no longer a term.
That takes the it took me a long time to get there, but that's the most difficult thing to learn in this climate is just let people be stupid. Because, part of you is always correcting
especially for me. I've always, like, it's hard for me to let anything go unchecked to the point where, a lot of people think I'm an asshole for it, but now I'm learning. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, but you have to. That's the difficult thing. But that's what you got to understand. That it don't even matter. Like people don't care about the facts; they care about their feelings. So they feel like it ain't about their trash. It don't matter who's out there. That's
my saying. That what you used to say. Shout out to the homie Court. He posts like crazy memes on the page, and people will come on and start arguing with him. And I'm like, yo, what are y'all mad about, man? Let's not let facts get in the way of a good meme. Let's let the meme gods do what they do, and let's not let the facts get in the way of a good meme. Shout out to Ben for working.
So shout out to Court too. I know Court listens to all our show. Court is the equivalent of like gangster rap. Like he'll put that stuff out there. And Court, to be honest with you, a lot of this stuff is trash. Like there's more than 3 athletes that ever existed. But
I tell him that all the time.
To the people that complain about it, stop commenting. Like literally.
Yeah. Like, no. And he says that to me, where I tell him I don't really have that luxury. Like our whole thing and, me being in charge of that social media, Jimmy got the Instagram and back when Twitter was popping, you did most of that. Facebook has always kind of been my thing. And our whole thing with the Facebook page was, at least back then, like we want to engage our supporters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back then it was easier because, our page had a couple thousand, at the most, and even before that when it was just a couple hundred, it was easy to engage and kind of know everybody. Now it's grown. We have so many people. Sometimes it's just not worth it because with growth comes like the masses move in and all the people that was kind of the anti-war room when we started because we started this whole thing to be different than what you see on TV, to be different from the groupthink that you see every day on the internet. Now that started to pour its way in. So it's like the page, I'm telling you, I lose brain cells every time. And Court's like, well, if you don't like my post, why you keep saying stuff? I'm like, because I'm trying to live by the guidelines that we set forth. I'm trying to be engaging. And a lot of times I don't even comment on the actual topic. I'll just read through the comments and I'll be checking people on little stuff that they're saying that's lies instead of talking about the whole topic. Like I said, I'm just there to be an asshole.
And shout out to our followers though, because we have like a nice little following that kind of supports us, and we appreciate all of them. Like what I'm saying, so we have like a core fan. We have people that have been rocking with us for years, literally a decade at this point, because we were podcasting before podding was actually popular. We were podcasting. It was like 10 of us. We approaching episode 500 for Christ's sakes. But
so and Jimmy ain't talking about 10 podcasts. He's talking about 10 people, and 5 of them was on our show.
Yeah.
It was us 5 and then 5 other dudes.
Yo, shout out to Ball Control Radio, man, because they was out here rocking with us, the Broad Street Line and Ball Control Radio. But at the same time, man, like when it comes to arguments online, man, you gotta, it's difficult to do. But the one thing I always keep in mind, because like you said, I'm on IG, and it's the same nonsense over there. But the one thing I always keep in mind is, like, it could be worse. We could be a political show. Then imagine the kind of brain cells you would lose and the kind of anger you would have. Because listen, right now, statistically speaking, so here's the crazy part, right? So because we're in the podcast business, I do a lot of research on podcasts and stuff. Right now, through news podcast, any sort of media outlet, political commentary and news is having like the best the best years ever. So the one thing that 45 is good for is talk. But I could not imagine if we had like our media platform was politically based. Regardless of how you feel about 45, regardless of whether you're liberal or conservative, that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, each side gets on each other's nerves, and I know that. And I couldn't imagine if we had that kind of platform, because we probably would have stopped by now.
No, yeah, we would have quit. I mean, because
good thing.
Sports for us has always been a labor of love, and we used to say that a lot when we first started. That's before we, made any money. That was that disclaimer, like if we never make a dime, we love this.
Yeah.
Seriously, when I'm feeling like I have to engage the page, like those are the days that make me fall a little bit out of love with sports. I'm sorry to say that.
You know what though?
It's difficult, but like Jimmy said, we do appreciate. We appreciate the traffic. We appreciate, the engagement. It's just some of y'all be tripping.
And a lot of it though, it's like, I guess LeBron is the Donald Trump of the NBA, but we'll talk about his situation in a little bit. But I get it though. But like, what happens when he finally hangs him up? Right, he's on the back end of his career. Has to be. Like, this will be interesting for me to see the transition, right? Because I guess he's the first guy of his caliber in the social media age, right? Even when Mike has a fan base that this is crazy, but they didn't live during the social media age. So even though they try to argue Mike, it's still a little different. So I wonder, like, do they just jump on someone else? Like, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see how this whole thing happens as we get a new star. Because the thing about the game of basketball is always bigger than one person. So somebody will emerge.
He's gonna live on though, because he is the first real star of the social media age. Because Mike didn't have social media age, and you still talk about how crazy his fans are. Like, his old heads on the joint talking crazy about Mike right now. Like, I find myself kind of defending his legacy a little bit. And, like me, I kind of like everybody, but like, it's gotten so disrespectful. And I never understand why you have to hate somebody to like somebody else. So it's like, we can praise LeBron until the cows come home, but why do we have to tear down Michael Jordan and everybody else to do so? I think their accomplishments all stand on their own merit. But that's something I'll never understand, but it's something that will never stop being, a thing. That's what everybody feel like they got to pick sides. I'm like, okay, y'all picking sides, and I'm like, y'all, man, I'm teaming up. I'm playing with all of them. But anyway, man, all this to say, shout out to Ben Simmons for trying to improve himself, for hearing the criticism. I just hope that this doesn't turn into somebody, because what I have respected about him through all of the vitriol, through all of the criticism, he still stayed in his lane. He never went out in NBA games forcing up jump shots because everybody said he couldn't shoot or he was scared to take them. He stayed in his lane. So even if he develops a semblance of a jump shot, I still hope he stays his lane. He's even inconsistent in attacking, but attacking is what made him good. If he just keeps attacking the rim and using that at times to, so the defense won't totally disrespect him in the half court, then that's fine. But if he goes all out of character and he becomes this dude, and I see it every day in gyms, man, it's how it is with the youth, man, and the teenagers. I sat at a 3-on-3 game yesterday. I was actually going to play. I actually called next. Old head. It was a bunch of teenagers. 3-on-3. I'm not lying to y'all. I'm not exaggerating when I say there was about 150 3-pointers taken in this 3-on-3. And had to be somewhere between 10 and 14, 15 that actually went in. And at least 8 of them was by the only female player there. Probably the only one of the 6 that could actually play ball. It was so bad that I forfeited my next. I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I'm already out of shape. So what do I look like on my mission to get back in shape, playing with like the Five Stooges and the girl. and like I said, there's no exaggerations in me when I say 150. So that tells you how long this game probably was, because I don't even know what it went to. But if you got time to jack up that many threes and miss that many threes, but when I left, when I had forfeited my next and turned around and went back down the other end of the gym to watch my son work out, I probably have been standing there for like 35 minutes. I've never been in a 3-on-3 that lasted 35 minutes. I played in like 6 million hoop it up tournaments. Never been in a 3-on-3 that lasted 35 plus minutes.
Yeah, they're drawing.
They are. So I say that to say this. I hope Ben Simmons doesn't fall into what today's youth do and just jack up shots that they can't really shoot because that's all they see on TV. So I hope he still stays in his lane to an extent, but take the shots that you have to take, the shots that are given to you. We'll see. But speaking of somebody who can shoot, Trae Young, there's reports that he's gained 12 to 16 pounds of muscle, and he plans to work with Kobe in August after Team USA activities on his mid-range game. So, your man Trae trying to take over the league or what?
Trae TL, baby. Listen, man, I don't want to put too much stock into summer league games, right? But first of all, when he started last year, he started off kind of slow. Once he got with the speed of the game and everything, he was just as dominant as anybody.
Just a confidence thing. Got his confidence up.
Yeah, in the second half of the season. Then I'm watching him in summer league clips because I got to stay off IG like everybody else. But them summer league clips came out, and he was out there giving out all kinds of work.
Yeah.
He looked like young Steph out there.
Exactly. And that's the thing, because he has a pretty, I don't even call it pretty decent. He has a nice handle. He can get to the rack. They said something like 65% of his shots this past season were either 3 to 10 feet away from the basket or 3-pointers. So they said he was slightly above average from 3 to 10 feet, but he has an excellent floater, which allowed him to hit 44.8% of his attempts between 10 and 16 feet. So his floater was basically his only semblance of a mid-range game. So now he's going to get with Kobe and try to work on that. He can be deadly like that because, like I say, he has the handle to get past anybody. And if he starts working on his pull-up game from mid-range, he'll have, like, so many ways to score out on the floor, even though analytics tell us, well, the three-point shot or the layup are the best things that you could possibly get. But to have that all around, to have that mid-range in your game, man, is deadly.
That's crazy to hear you say that. Because I'm currently reading. Because I'm currently reading like the book of basketball, which is long as all get out. Oh my God, it's worse than the Bill Simmons book. Like this book is put it like this. You saw.
I thought that's what you were talking about. I was about to say I've been reading that book. No.
It's one. No, it's one by Jackie McMullen. With the one that the ESPN documentary was made about.
Okay.
That book is like yo. But anyway, but it's interviews with pretty much everybody throughout the history of basketball. If you saw the documentary series on ESPN, you know how detailed they get. But the book even has more than that. And they were describing in the book, talking to different players about Elgin Baylor, and talking about he was the first person to kind of like perfect somewhat of like a floater and a pull-up jump shot because he was so fast that he would but he was the first person to learn how to, cross over and go straight away so fast and just pull up. And there's nothing you can do to stop it because he's so athletic that you couldn't keep up with him. But then when he pull up, you like either chasing him or trying to stay in front of him. And the pull up, you can't get up in time. But it's just crazy to hear that Trae TL is like, because the thing is, he's a short guy. But if you could perfect that, like you said, that gives him so many tools in the toolbox. It's gonna be crazy to watch him play. It's kind of like Devin Booker, right? Mm-hmm. Devin Booker's good at that. And until today, I was looking at something today. I didn't realize just the numbers that Devin Booker puts up.
Yeah,
like Devin Booker averages more points, assists, and rebounds than a lot of the best guards in the league. I'm talking about his numbers are better than Dame's, Kyrie's, Like a lot of the best guards in the league, you put their numbers up against Devin Booker, and you're like, yo.
And that's the thing when you play for a team that's in a franchise that's in the slump that Phoenix is in right now. It's like a dude is good, but you won't give him his full props because he's not really doing anything towards winning, and that might not be his fault. So, we had a lot of people like that back in it. I think at some point in his career, not the whole time, but maybe like when Mitch Richmond was in Sacramento, people forgot how good Mitch Richmond was.
Absolutely.
So,
totally
that
agree
kind
with
of
that.
thing.
Because
Phoenix, you can kind of get stuck in purgatory.
Yeah, Phoenix, they be looking like the Independence Pirates, but that's even here or there.
Shout out to those mother. Oh, never mind. Yeah. Did you? By the way, did you finish that?
Yes, I did, man. Yeah.
I
I
thought it was gonna go that way, but I was just talking. Yeah, my man ended up. Yeah, he gone, so we ain't gonna see them no more because they're not gonna go back and do the show with the corny black dude as the coach.
Not at all.
Like, what's the allure?
But the crazy part about there's a couple things that are crazy about the show, right? As I'm
and if y'all don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about Last Chance U on Netflix.
Oh, on Netflix. Yeah. Last Chance U on Netflix. What's interesting to me watching that is, and I guess I watch too many damn Disney movies, but whole time I'm watching, I'm waiting for things to turn around and it'll be some
waiting for happy endings. You forget this is a reality show.
This is real life, yeah. So Netflix does an amazing job with the cinematography and their music to make you feel like something's gonna happen, even though it's real life.
And then the interception comes. Like, damn, I thought they was about to come back.
Yeah. And Malik Henry, though, I gotta say something about Malik Henry. Malik Henry clearly has the fun. You watch his the way he plays. He looks like he could play at the next level. He's talented, but he's such a douchebag for one. He reminds me of Rajon Rondo, right? Rajon Rondo, when you watch him play, can pretty much do everything with he can't shoot, but he shoots good enough. But people just hate him. People do not like dude. You talk to people in the league, his ex-teammates, they just you gotta be such an a-hole when you're that talented basketball-wise, and that's how I feel about the Bulls. But anyway, man, it's another excellent season to me. I don't know where it goes from here. They need to do a Last Chance U basketball version, a JUCO basketball program. That would be absolutely fire.
That'll be hot. We're gonna write them, and then we're gonna have them on the show, so the idea can be birthed right here on the War Room.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that joint, that season definitely went left. Like, they were in episode 1 talking about winning the national championship. And then,
I thought the boy Jay was about to be the nicest dude ever. I'm like, he's about to be nice.
Jay worse than your man. What was it from the other college that they used to chronicle? That transferred and ended up being a receiver or something?
Yeah. But Jay, he was always down in the south. So my man was towards the end, he's I'm trash. I ain't nothing. I'm garbage. I'm like, yo. How you supposed to lead a team?
Yeah, white boy broke them down to the white meat.
Lead a team, though.
He went in when I first saw him, I'm like, all right, this dude seemed kind of cocky. Let's see if he's nice. Like you said, by the 8th episode, it was like, I'm garbage.
His teammate,
man.
Right? His teammate, no, it's the circumstances. You can play the game. No, I can't. I'm trash. Yo.
And then on the little credits at the end when they were doing the little stories, they said he was looking to transfer and he was telling coaches that he wouldn't mind a switch to receiver. So he didn't totally gave up on his dreams.
Yeah, he gave up.
Malik, he's still going out to Division I schools. He's supposed to be battling for a starting spot at Nevada. So I'll ask Fred Perdue. He know random stuff about college football.
Now,
see how that's going.
One of the biggest things from this whole season, man, is the whole student athlete thing is a joke, dog. It was cringeworthy watching them trying to perform in a classroom. It was almost embarrassing. I'm like, come on, cuz.
Yeah.
Come on, cuz.
Yeah, we've known for a long time, especially for the highest earning sports. It's a joke. People go to these schools to play their sport. once their sport is over, they don't know the smell of an inside of a classroom. The crazy part though is this, like, you have to do well because a lot of their aspirations are to go to a Division I school. So you can't be at a JUCO treating it like you're at a Division I school. Like, you got to go all out. Do that stuff when you get there, but it's crazy. It definitely took a turn. It went left. All right, so let's take some calls real quick. We got to keep these quick tonight, fellas. We can't be on these 10-minute calls. We're gonna go out to Cali first. We got Rob on the line. Rob, what's going on, man?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy Rob, a.k.a. Slip and Slide. How y'all doing, man?
Good.
What's up?
How you?
Yo, I'm good, man. Yo, the debate last night was crazy. Yo, shout out to Tulsi Gabbard, man. She's my new sugar mama, you know what I'm saying? Yo, she took a bite at Kamala Harris behind. She took Kamala Harris' weave off, you know what I'm saying? And yo, exposed the realness. Yo, man, it was funky on that stage because everybody's dirty laundry was aired out, man. It was bonkers.
Yeah, it was, but I still, like we said in the open, I still get to me it seemed like they're not going as hard as they would if there was other circumstances in this presidential race. I think it could get much nastier than what it got last night. All right, but what you got on the sport?
All right. First thing first, I just want to say this. And I wish Austin was here because he's probably gonna hear this. I am no longer a McNabb defender anymore. He doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. I respect McNabb for everything he did. And if y'all know me for years, you know, me and B. Austin, me and Dev go back and forth with the.
So what has he done to make you about face like this? What has he done since he stopped being half decent on the field?
Wait. Time out. It's not what he done. It's what the Philadelphia Eagles did was win the Super Bowl. That's it. That's it for me. That's it.
So
that's it.
They won the Super Bowl and then they just erased your boy.
I mean, because he was one of the closest ones who ever did it. Cunningham never won a playoff game. Probably won. Ron Jaworski's trash. Nobody ever done. Jerk off here.
Ronda Rousey. You meant Jaworski.
Ron Jaworski.
But Ron Jaworski played in as many Super Bowls as Donovan McNabb.
Well, Ron Jaworski has he led the NFL in passing yards? Who would you take, Ron Jaworski or Roger Staubach? Ron Jaworski or Roger Staubach?
No. I don't know neither of the dudes you just I don't know neither of the boys.
Excuse me, y'all. I can't.
See, but you just introducing new stuff to the argument. I didn't say I would take Ron Jaworski over Starbucks, but whatever you call him. But
Roger Starbucks.
Starbucks, man, not Starbucks. Anyway, that's besides it. We know who you're talking about. But I never said that. And I don't even know why his name just jumped out of nowhere. We're talking about Eagles quarterbacks. And I was only making note of, you said this nice stuff about everybody. Then you said McNabb was the closest one to win a Super Bowl. Then you said some nice stuff about Randall, but he never got it done. And then you just said Ron Jaworski was trash, but he got just as far as Donovan McNabb. Maybe not, as many times, but like as much as people celebrate how many times we went to the NFC Championship, like that's excruciating for me. Like, well, it was before we got a Super Bowl. Like, so, like, what people look at as celebratory, like, those are bad memories for me. Like, there's nothing for me to celebrate. Oh, we made it to the NFC Chip five times. Like, and you have no Super Bowls to show for it. So why do we still celebrate that? And another mistake that y'all make in this conversation is that y'all are saying one name when y'all talk about all of this stuff. None of these quarterbacks did anything by themselves. So it's not like,
I mean, but the thing about the Eagles team, and this is sad, but it is one argument that B. Austin brought up, and I think he did, but is that our defense carried us to the AFC Championship game. Our offense was all right. It was not explosive. We didn't have no receivers other than T.O. and then Deshaun Jackson.
Time I heard some of y'all admit that, because y'all used to run around here talking like McNabb used to carry the team. I guess y'all, you're getting a little wiser in your old age.
He didn't have any offensive weapons. I mean, Brian Westbrook was a good
He had arguably the best offensive line in football, and that's the best weapon you can have. Stop with the excuses, dude.
Yeah,
what weapons did Tom Brady have? What weapons
Rob,
did Tom Brady have in his first 3 Super Bowl wins? He had Manny, Moe, and Jack at the wide receiver position.
You're comparing a Hall of Famer to McNabb.
Who?
That's a good point. You're comparing a Hall of Famer to McNabb.
Well, they compared them throughout their whole careers until McNabb couldn't stay in the league. He got paid like Brady and Manning while they were in the league. Why can't he be compared to his contemporaries if y'all thought he was that good?
Rob, you can play a god, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, I said that. What you gonna say, man?
Listen for a second. Here's the truth about McNabb. He's not as good as some people believe he is, but he's not as bad as others. He's somewhere in the middle. He's an average quarterback. There's nothing wrong with him.
Not as bad as
he played
not as bad as B. Austin make him out to be.
Yeah, he's not as bad as B. Austin makes him out to be, but he's not as good as you made him out to be in the past as well. It's like he's somewhere in the middle. He's a pretty good quarterback. You know what I mean? He's a serviceable guy. I mean, he's okay. I mean, that's just what it is.
Oh, I do want to hear something else because I don't want to talk about McNabb anymore. I do want to hear something else. As far as I never do. Man, come on. What is it gonna? What can Andrew Luck and the Colts win the big one? And do you think Andrew Luck will be like one of the legends that just never win one? Like you could say like the Carmelo Anthony of the NFL or the Charles Barkley of the NFL.
I mean, that's possible. I've never thought that the Colts front office were really that good in putting players around, their quarterbacks. They're a spoiled franchise. Kind of like Green Bay, you get to move on from one Hall of Fame quarterback to possibly another Hall of Fame quarterback if he can keep playing like this. But they've always put the team together where they're worrying about stuff like fans. That stuff that y'all be talking about receivers and weapons and all that, and not worried about the guys up front who actually make the game go. And then he or Peyton Manning never really had a defense worth his salt, but you saw when the Colts defense got on a nice little run in the playoffs, you saw what ended up happening. You know what I'm saying? They ended up picking up Peyton Manning in a Super Bowl game where he didn't play lights out. He played lights out all those years, but the defense was trash. When the defense got on a little run, they turned into a Super Bowl team. And it didn't last long because they were back to being ass as a defense the next year. But yeah, I don't think the Colts front office, man, are very good at what they do because to me, they put teams together like fans. They're worrying about receivers and this and that. So he got this speed on the edge and he got this and he got that, but he ain't got no damn body to block for him. He got nobody on the other side that's going to stop the other team. So it's going to be difficult, but they've surprised us before with how far they've advanced. His rookie year, he came into a 2-win team and, they made a little playoff run. Last season, I don't think anybody expected them to be in the playoffs. So they'll be in the mix. And once you're in the mix, you never know what'll happen, especially if and when the Patriots fall off. It's pretty much going to be wide open in the AFC.
This is true.
Yeah, you're right. Cause you're right. Cause I always thought he was you just said it all. Yeah, good front office. And I do want to touch on this too.
Hurry up, man. We gotta go.
Want to touch on this too? Yeah, damn. Let's see, Lakers or Eagles? Okay, football. So let's talk about the Eagles real quick. The Eagles real quick. Yeah. I really don't. Okay. I'll put the Eagles on the backside. Okay. Well, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? I understand that Frank Vogel's a good defensive coach, but defensive coaching, sort of like Tom Thibodeau has, never equals really championships. And some may argue that Tom Thibodeau's comes from like the Doc Rivers school of hard knocks, but but he's not Doc Rivers. I was wondering what system could be good that fits both of really that gets the big man in his hands. Because first of all, they ain't gonna put him on a perimeter because that's what he was doing in New Orleans, and that didn't do so well. Like his numbers went down, and he was taking 3 shots and made no sense. And 2, like, do you think it's a disservice to LeBron not really having a Hall of Fame coach, like Isaiah Thomas always says, like because he never really had a coach to never really have anybody to build like a system.
I kind of think that's an excuse. I kind of think with LeBron, like certain players, you can't have that kind of coach. You know what I'm saying? Any coach that had a semblance of power, LeBron pretty much got him up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Paul Silas, we thought he was a disciplinarian. He didn't take no stuff. LeBron got him up out of there. Like Pat Riley wanted his guy, who's a pretty good coach. And Spoelstra, LeBron had problems with him when that whole thing first started. But Pat Riley wouldn't bow down to, what they wanted. Some personalities, I think, are too big for those kind of deals. And it's good for LeBron, though, because he doesn't have that kind of coach. We never have to hear stories of, well, LeBron was uncoachable. The stuff that Phil Jackson used to write about Kobe. You don't have to write about that when the coach is thankful to be coaching LeBron because he probably wouldn't be much without him. So
a couple ways to look at it, right? So when Phil Jackson became a coach, he wasn't Phil Jackson. It was his experience with the Bulls and Mike that led him to become who he was by the time he took his talents to L.A. and made that team a championship team. But they kind of grew together, is my point. And that's what I thought LeBron was going to do with his guy, Tyronn Lue. Because Tyronn Lue wasn't a terrible coach. He
could have done that with Spoelstra, Jimmy, but LeBron don't stay put long enough for that. So people
that's the problem. The league is different now. Cats move every 12 months, so it was like a little different now. It's hard to grow with someone, Paul. But I thought that's what was going to happen. I'm trying to figure out what LeBron means by his most recent tweet, though. LeBron put out a tweet a couple minutes ago. I don't know if you guys saw this. It says, all right, enough is enough. The throne has been played with too much, and I ain't for the horseplay. Easter coming soon. Hashtag James Gang. I don't know what he's talking about or who he's talking to.
He going on like what Greeny been saying, because I know he might be referencing this, but there was like a poll that came out where people, like LeBron got 0 votes for being the best player in the league. And Greeny was like, he feel like that's disrespectful to LeBron to not get any votes, and he has a feeling that LeBron is going to go medieval on the league this upcoming season. So LeBron might be playing right into that. I mean, I think he's going to have a great season too, health permitting. And we always talk about how durable he is. This season being the first extended absence from an injury really in his entire career. But, you can't count on durability all the time. Dude's going to be 35 soon, so he may have been durable up to this point.
LeBron, you used the wrong 2. It should be T-O-O. You put T-O, and that's all I want to say.
All right, Rob, we got to go out, though, man. So we'll wrap to you next week, good brother, all right?
All right.
Peace. All right, let's go to Tobias. We got Tobias waiting out in Arizona. I know he upset. Tobias, what up? Oh, he hung up. Yeah, he really upset.
Damn, Tobias, how you gonna cuss us out? Then when we bring you on, you hang up, man. Come on, man.
He bang. All right. Well, anyway, until he calls back in, I know Carmelo's name came up in that last segment. Pundits have been debating that this week as well, because Carmelo Anthony's trainer says that Carmelo Anthony deserves a farewell tour, kind of like Dwayne Wade, excuse me, Dirk, Kobe, and to go farther back than that, you had like Doc, like that, Kareem. Do you think, Jimmy, that Carmelo Anthony deserves a farewell tour in the NBA?
No, absolutely not. No disrespect, because Melo was one of my favorite guys. Pause.
Right.
But that, and when I came up, that was reserved for like not even great players. That was reserved for icons. When I came up, Kareem, Magic, Bird, and Doc were the only ones to get one. Guys like Dominique Wilkins didn't get a farewell tour. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Kevin McHale didn't get a farewell tour. Like even the great players didn't get it. That was reserved for
Dominique Wilkins.
that was reserved for the table of gods. Like Kareem, Magic, Bird, and Doc were the only cats that got the full fit. Barkley didn't get a farewell tour. Like it was those guys.
To be fair, so was statues. These days, you get a statue
that's my point.
for signing somewhere. Statues and murals. So in today's day and age, that's probably the only reason that it's even a conversation. I agree with you. I mean, I don't even think about farewell tours. Like, who really cares? But when you think back, what you're saying is true. Like, it was something reserved for legends. Like, I remember seeing, Doc go to different places that used to be hated rivals, and they gave him wheelchairs and not wheelchairs, rocking chairs and all kinds of gifts and stuff like that. Like, everybody doesn't deserve that. Just like you, Carmelo Anthony, he's one of my favorite players, but I don't think he's done enough in the pantheon of the NBA to have that kind of. I mean, you have to respect him, but New York should do something for him. Denver should do something for him, and then that's probably where the line needs to be.
Get a farewell tour? I mean, could you make the argument that Stat? Could you make an argument that Stat had a better career than Carmelo?
I wouldn't, but Stat has had a way better career than a lot of people will remember at this point. Because when people leave and crazy circumstances, injuries, and just falling off like that, people forget. People forget real quick. But yeah, I agree. I don't think. First of all, Melo got to get on a damn team. he ain't getting a farewell nothing if he's not on a team. The Knicks said had they grabbed a couple free agents, then they would have really considered signing Melo. But at this point, they're like, what's the point? And I see what they're saying, because they're like, we could sign Melo for the vet minimum right now, just to give him his farewell tour. But with the roster that we've put together, even with the guys you pay big money to this offseason, Melo will come in and still think he's the superstar of that team, and you really couldn't blame him.
Yep.
You really couldn't blame him.
Yeah, I mean.
But had they gotten Kyrie and Kevin Durant, then Melo would have been forced to take that backseat role, and then they could have signed him just to have some extra vet presence. But
that's what they said in Houston. And that didn't work out. They didn't start winning until they got rid of his ass.
Yo, that's so ironic. That's crazy. Because I really see no way possible that the way they were playing had anything to do with him. But But as soon as he left, like, come on, man, they won
20 straight. They won 20 straight as soon as he rolled out. Like, come on, cuz.
They making my man look bad, man. How y'all gonna just start balling after Melo leaves? Melo stayed one more game, he'd have been balling with y'all. I don't know. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though, because like I said, Melo's one of my favorite guys. He reminds me of somebody that comes from where we come from. Like I respect Melo, and at his peak, I felt like he was one of the most gifted offensive players I've ever seen. Like he was a modern day Bernard King, but at this point, I don't know what value he adds to any team. And it's sad though, because it's almost like his OG Bubba Chuck when Bubba Chuck went out the league. It wasn't that he couldn't play no more. It's like what value?
He
what
always
value
mirrored you. He was always a big Iverson, hair down to the hair and everything. He's going out just like him. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, he should be on a roster. His trainer said he's better than 60-70% of the guys in the league right now. So it's crazy that he's not on the roster. I don't know what the percentage is.
That was a Poma stat.
Yeah, he definitely Poma that. And because I don't know what the real percentage would be, because it's not really these days about being better, but the game has kind of changed from what, Melo was great at. The game has changed. I mean, he could be a good spot-up shooter somewhere right now, but can Melo really do that? Like, can Melo get the rock in his hand and not put it on the floor and give you his old man moves and, do what he does?
That's what's interesting about the game of basketball to me in general, right? Being an old-ass man as I am, I've been around long enough to see the game completely change a couple times. And, people like to argue about generations and could such and such play in this generation or such play. And the longer I'm around watching this thing of ours, that becomes interesting, talk for me. I really believe the best players, the cream of the crop, could have played in any generation. But when you start to, go down and you talk about the good players, I don't know, because, someone with his skill set or someone who just played in the post completely, how do you transition that into today's game? It's a completely different game.
Yo, and for some players, they had the misfortune of being in the league in the midst of their career while it happened. Dwight Howard went from the best center in the league to somebody who begs for a job every offseason.
Yeah.
Because would he? Or first of all, he was never that great at what he, as far as his skill set, his game, but he was still the best out there. He was the best that we had. Now he could barely get a job. It's crazy to watch how people get aged out of the game while they're still playing the game. I think Melo might be one of them.
That Big Ja, if Big Ja would have got drafted in, say, 91, he would have been a perennial all-star.
Right. Right. That's a great example. Some people are just in the wrong generation. And
you
it's
born wrong
real
time,
crazy. Huh?
I said, catch you born wrong time. You gotta blame their parents.
Yeah. See your parents about that, which is crazy. All right, let's get Tobias on the line. He probably got steam coming from his brain right now. Tobias, what's up, man?
You already got me waiting behind Ron Harper here. All right, but anyway.
Rob's number was on the line before we even got counted down to be on the air.
Yo, Rob was on before me.
Rob was waiting he waiting on new Jordans around here.
Yeah, Rob was in line chilling.
But I heard y'all a couple things. I heard y'all talking about the Colts from Peyton Manning and what's his name, Andrew Luck, and talking about the bad defenses. You know the one underrated thing about their defense that people don't take into consideration? They had Robert Mathis on one side and Dwight Freeney on the other, meaning that when you up, they can get a stop by rushing that quarterback.
Exactly. But that's kind of one of the points that I was alluding to. They even built their defense around their quarterback, which is still kind of like me. Because they're like, all right, Peyton going to light it up early, so we'll get a lead, and we'll let these two dudes pin their back and just go after the quarterback. And then when teams started to be more competitive with them, playoff time, it became a little harder to do that.
Well, that's the equivalent of an NBA team playing an up-tempo basketball and trying to score 140 points a game, and they get in the playoffs and someone slows the game down.
The Patriots.
Now
the Patriots ate that up. Because the Patriots eat them up, and see what happens is, even the Chiefs last year, their secondary was awful, but they had a great front seven. So that even though the secondary is awful, they can pin their ears back and get stopped. But one thing y'all was talking
that goes to great
side.
coaching though, Tobias. Great coaches find a way. I remember back in the 80s, right, when the Broncos had a high flying the Three Amigos and Sammy White. The Broncos had a high flying offense, and Bill Parcells got in the bowl and literally said in one of the press conferences, we can't score with them, and he came up with a scheme where they had the ball. They had one drive. I think to this day it might be the longest drive in NFL history. They had the ball in the first half for like a quarter and a half. Like they were deliberately getting in like third downs and picking up the third down. They did it all the way down the field and kept the offense off the like it was literally coaching. Sometimes
and Belichick would be coordinator.
They recognize. I mean, exactly. You know what? You're absolutely right. He definitely was on that staff too. So, but that goes to scheming and coaching. When you get to those late season games and you're talking about deep in the playoffs, that's when the coaches earn their money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Cause Belichick shut down the K gun, and one thing. And like with the Buffalo, and that's what, and like I tell people, if you can have the best corners in the world, you got to rush the passer. You can have average. Let me tell you, people talk about Tom Brady had these average wideouts, but guess what? They always had the growing the best offensive lines in football. If you have a great offensive line, it makes your receivers better. There are a lot of teams with shiny new weapons who can't protect. If you can't protect the quarterback, it doesn't matter. And like everybody talking about the running back, the value, right? It ain't like the backup to like Zeke or Melvin Gordon. Zeke's a game changer. Todd Gurley's a game changer. He made Jared Goff from a bust to like a borderline MVP candidate. When they start featuring him, he could run, he could get out there and catch. He could run, and they could take a 5-yard swing pass to the house. That too. Yeah. Man, Steve McNair should have been so much better if he had.
Tobias, you know what the crazy part is? You made a great point about like Tom Brady, right? So people do like to talk about his weapons, but if you play at the NFL level, like you're pretty good, right?
Yep.
But when you have so much time to get open, like even if you're going against the best D-backs in the world, like they can only cover you for so long. You have the advantage as an offensive player, and we've all seen Brady like sit in the pocket and like literally wait damn near half of a sitcom to throw the ball. So you're right. It's all about that offensive line. That offensive line, and me and Austin always make the joke when we're in the show talking about like, listen, the fat guys up front win football games, but it's the absolute truth in the passing game and the running game. Like, Tom Brady's gonna be able to play till he's 45 because of the fact that he hasn't really gotten beat up like that. The Super Bowls they did lose is when they got pressure, when the Giants got pressure.
The Broncos and your Broncos put that pressure on them. Brady was getting beat up, and I think that's when they brought that up.
What did the Eagles, Patriots, the last two played in together?
Quarterback sack, and that's what I tell people.
Yeah, I like the big play of that game was a sack. They weren't getting pressure like they were supposed to. They were scoring back and forth, but when it came down to it, one of the fat guys up front had to make a play. Either the fat guys on the defensive side made a play, or the fat guys on the offensive side didn't make a play. But either way, that always is what decides
and it's funny,
games.
You know what's funny about that, Dad? I remember as a kid, like you're watching football as a kid, you love football. But when you're a kid, you love football. You like all the receivers and running backs, the guys that score touchdowns, right? And you watch the draft back in the day as a little kid, and your team would draft like an offensive lineman, and you'd be mad as hell, like because it just wasn't fun for you. But now as you get older, you realize like, yo, that's where the game is won.
He's like, yo,
you know what?
Some linemen, man.
Yeah.
Draft some linemen.
Y'all speaking of coaching, right? I remember that was the NFC Championship game where the one the Rams won the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner. The Bucs shut that offense down. Too bad we had a trash quarterback and Sean King. But anyway, and it overturned a catch that was a catch. Bertie Manuel
won that game like
anyway.
9-6 or 10-6.
Yo, it was like 9-6. Yeah. But you know what though? That game actually did make me respect the Rams even more. I'm gonna tell you why. Because y'all was smacking them in the mouth, and
they won an ugly game.
To it, they actually fought. They showed a little bit of heart in that game. I was like, okay, so they're not soft. Because the thing with them all season is they're scoring these points, but they're soft. When somebody smacks them in the mouth, they're not going to know how to act. And y'all was smacking them in the mouth, but they got that game, and they need they got that one drive, and that one drive they put it together. I was like, okay, they got a little heart.
And I touched on these things before y'all go and everything. I know Dev was talking about y'all talking about all them dudes jacking up threes and like Trae Young, and I'm glad Trae Young realized about the mid-range jumper. The mid-range jumper won Finals MVP and held 3 teams hostage in free agency. when you watch Portland against Denver, that Game 7, they was getting mid-range jumpers. The reason that San Antonio Pop even said how he beat Houston in the playoffs all the time, hey, they're not going to take a mid-range jumper. We're just going to run the three-point line and make them take a layup against Tim Duncan. You know?
Hey, Tobias, I got a question for you. You think that people are going to start sitting out with load management on the playground? When's that come to the playground?
I'm just waiting for it to come to the All-Star game because they haven't load managed the All-Star game yet, though. That's all I got to say. You know, the thing is, though, the mid-range shot. Golden State takes so many mid-range jumpers. You know, and people miss on that stuff. They don't look at the games. They just see highlights and say, "Oh, Steph Curry made all these threes." But what about the moving about the ball Steph does? What about the mid-range jumpers he and Clay does? Clay is a great player. He can post up too, and they move so well about the ball as well. And Klay Thompson's post up ability is great as well. That's why I've always criticized LeBron because, dude, you built like Karl Malone with passing skills like magic. You could pass out the post like Mark Jackson used to or Gary Payton and situate that passing ability. And you know, I just think that with these analytics, these players shorten themselves on their abilities because the mid-range jumper won. Many of your greatest players ever took the mid-range. And even LeBron was saying it. You got to get a bucket sometimes. Damn the computer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
All right, Tobias, man. Oh, go ahead. Hurry up.
I said it before I run. I don't care. Nobody said I saw that Anthony Davis interview. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. I think he was happy Kawhi didn't sign because Anthony Davis will become Ryan Anderson, Chris Bosh, and Kevin Love. I think he was happy as a pig in slop. But you got to take it easy.
All right.
Yeah.
I think he probably happy about that too. He definitely was because it would have got real crowded down there. And as talented as he is, I can't see him being anybody's third option. Like, come on, man. I
agree, but I think that if it was Kawhi, it's a little bit different because Kawhi don't. I think Anthony Davis likes to, even though he doesn't seem like it initially, but I think he likes the whole Hollywood thing. And Kawhi is so not that I don't think that would have gotten his way. Kawhi don't even want to.
Kawhi probably going to defer to Paul George.
Yeah, let him do all the media stuff.
All right, so real quick, stat of the week. This is about Tom Brady. We just talked about Tom Brady. This is something I saw. I didn't vet the numbers on this. I don't know what the truth is, but it said Tom Brady has appeared I guess really from 3 on because they're probably counting season 2 because he started, once Bledsoe got hurt, but he didn't start that season. But anyway, they said he's appeared in the Super Bowl 52% of the seasons he started in the NFL. Steph Curry is a career 43% three-point shooter. So basically what they're trying to say is Tom Brady is more likely to make it to the Super Bowl than Steph is to make a three-pointer. That's our stat of the week.
That's absolutely that's nuts.
Yeah. Who pulled that out? So when Steph is pulling up, you're like, man, Steph got water, but Tom Brady, he's a better chance he going to the bowl this year.
Yo, that is absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Dude, that's a lot. That's how you get spoiled. You know what I'm saying? Because it's difficult for any team to win one. And this dude is in the big game over half of his career as a starter. Quote of the week. This will take us into our
crazy
quick
part though, real quick, Dev, is when you think about historically speaking, that's how you think people felt about Bill Russell. I mean,
right.
Or even Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson played 12 seasons and played in the finals 9 of them. Like he literally played in the finals 75% of his career.
That's crazy. And that's the thing now. That's why so many people throw around the word dynasty so easily now. Like there's actually people clowning Eagles fans. Like, that dynasty ended quickly. I'm like, dynasty. I mean, first of all, it does because they didn't win again the next year. It doesn't mean that they can't have a dynasty. Like the Patriots.
That's true.
they didn't make the playoffs the next season after they won their first Super Bowl. I don't think they've only gone back-to-back one time in this whole 6 Super Bowl run.
Did the Spurs ever go back-to-back? No, I don't think the Spurs went back-to-back, did they?
I don't think they did. I don't think they won back-to-backs. That's what I'm saying. Like, people, there's no more patience either, because we let, and it's not even that we let, because they probably said that kind of stuff then. Because I remember people clowning the Patriots the next year. I told you it was a fluke. They didn't even make it back to the playoffs. And then, 5 more Super Bowls later, they're a dynasty. Same thing with the Spurs. They're a dynasty. And so people don't have the patience to live that out. And me, being an Eagles fan, I don't care about no dynasty. I could die in peace now as a football fan. Quote of the week. Quote, society always wants to talk about deadbeat dads. Now you want to complain about dads doing too much. Get the fuck out of here. And that was Matt Barnes on the recent of LeBron James. Something that we in the war room like Daddygate, because a lot of people have been critical of LeBron James because of his quote-unquote antics at his son Bronny's AAU games. He was, and this wasn't the first time, but he put on like a dunk play in the warm-ups. He was in the warm-ups with the kids, and he was dunking the ball all crazy. And people are saying that he's being an attention whore. He's making everything about himself. There was another scene where Bronny got a dunk in the game, and LeBron jumped on the court and, flexed his muscle while Bronny looked at him and flexed his muscle back. So what are your thoughts on this, Jimmy? Of course, it's LeBron, so it's a polarizing subject. A ton of people out here with him, but they're out here criticizing this in the first place to make anybody defend. What are your thoughts on this?
Listen, man, here's the thing, right? First off, I thought it was a joke at first that people were actually criticizing him, and then as I sat around for a couple of days, I realized, like, no, they're serious. They're really, like, going in on him about this. And, I mean, I've been to a lot of AAU games, and I've seen dads who aren't LeBron act a whole lot worse than him. But you can't get mad at someone being excited for their kid, and the whole idea of LeBron needing attention is ridiculous. LeBron can, like, go outside and, like, throw a Dasani in the air, and it's going to get – like, LeBron could do anything to get attention because he is LeBron. Like, but I understand it. I've had someone who works for the Disney-owned sports company tell me literally that LeBron James moves the needle. Anytime they talk about LeBron on their morning shows, their evening shows, their ratings spike, their social media numbers spike. So I see what's going on. They have to find a way to talk about LeBron. If LeBron didn't do that, and someone else had said this, I think it was in our group chat. I think it was Savad, pardon me if it wasn't him, but said that if LeBron doesn't say, maybe it was Hank. It was Hank. If LeBron doesn't do anything at all, that's the story. Either way, they were going to talk about him. They were going to say LeBron takes things too serious. Look at how he's acting at his son's game. So either way, they were going to talk about him. But they were going to make him the story. Like, was he drawn? Absolutely, he was drawn. But I guarantee you that if Chase got a dunk in the game, you would lose it.
Oh, I'm already, his biggest fan, and not until the moments where either somebody that I'm with is recording, or another one of his dads that I'm cool with is recording their son, or if I'm recording a clip and something happens, like, I don't even know that I say the stuff that I end up saying until I look back at these videos. And some of that stuff might be inappropriate at like a 7-year-old game. Like, you're not supposed to show up the other team. Bro, you know what I'm saying? And I'll say something like, "Oh, got him, ankles." You're not supposed to do that to a 7-year-old. You know what I mean? I've heard myself on tape like saying stuff like, "Chase, now get him, break his ankles." Like, he can't guard you. Like, you're not really supposed to say that stuff at a 7-year-old game. Which is why, there was a bunch of, almost fisticuffs that happen at these young games because people don't like you to talk to their kids or about their kids like that. This is high school. This is different. LeBron is one of the most famous people on the planet. While everybody's complaining about his dunk play and the layup line, the kids that he's doing the layup lines with, some of them who, are not going to be Bronny and get to the NBA, this is going to be the highlight of their lives. the kids on the other side, even the kids on the opposing team, it's going to be the highlight of their lives. Like, we sit around now and talk about stuff that happened in our high school games. Can you imagine we'd been like, yo, you remember how Michael Jordan was in the layup line down on the other side, dunking the ball? And, yo, that was crazy. We would brag about that.
I told him the other day I would have had a hashtag TBT every 2 weeks. Would have been about that time Mike was in the layup line with us. Like, who are you guys kidding? And the funny thing is that some of the one kid who got the alley-oop when Brian lost it and lost his shoe, like, he was actually on Twitter saying, like, you know, they love it. He said they're in their group chat like, yo, you hope Brian comes. Like, he said that they absolutely love it. The people in the stands said they love it. So it's like everybody's happy, but it's like you said before, man. We have to make something out of nothing, man.
The people in the stands, and I'm sure it's 5 or 6 dudes in the stands looking at him with the ice grill, like, look at this dude trying to get all the attention. I'm sure there's some dudes up there, some Kobe fans, some Mike fans, in the crowd acting like that. But these fans are so lucky because, when I first started thinking about this, I was like, yo, these people, you get to see LeBron for free where it costs $100. Now, I had to ease up off that because none of these AAU games be free. So for maybe $10, maybe $20, or maybe, a good $50 for the whole weekend if it's a tournament, like, you get to see LeBron James up close and personal. He even goes onto the court and puts on a dunk display for you. So, like, come on, it's nothing more that you can ask. And I'm like you, I agree. He be drawn, but that's what kind of pop he is. I mean, you also have to look at people's background. LeBron didn't have a dad in his life to be like this, so maybe he's changed the mode. He's just trying to change the narrative of his family tree. He's trying to be his son's number one fan. Like, let him be.
This is so nutty to me because, and I guess this is another time my age is showing. I remember literally coming up and there being like a negative connotation with the NBA father. I remember Sports Illustrated did an article that said, like, where's daddy? And they interviewed like all these different like players, like wives and kids, about like their fathers not being there. Like, that was a real thing back in like the 80s and 90s. And now like the whole narrative is changing. The crazy part about it is a lot of that, believe it or not, goes back to AI. When AI first started bringing his kids out to the podium and he started that movement, and then people follow suit. Now you see Westbrook playing with his kid before the game. You see Bronny and his kid. You see D-Wade with his kid. Like, AI is the one that, like, pioneered a lot of that. And
he damn sure did.
Like,
now the kids the kids are celebrities now because their names.
Yeah,
they start talking on the microphone. AI kids just have more discipline. So the new damn press conference.
Yeah, Jason Kidd and his big head ass son. Like, you remember these things, and the thing is,
grown man.
The thing is, like, they changed the narrative of what it means to be an NBA father. Like, these dudes are active. Like, even if it's just for the camera, the fact is they're showing something different than what was shown back when I was coming up. When I was coming up, if your pop was an NBA, then you probably didn't even know him. But I mean, they're kind of changing this whole narrative, so I think this is like a bit much. Like, to me, it's actually crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's just my opinion on it.
Now, the only thing, if there's one thing I'm going to say is, first of all, if it wasn't LeBron James, like, we wouldn't even know about this. I mean, he's famous. You know what I'm saying? He's uber famous. So, but the one thing, a lot of it wouldn't, like, they're not going to let you and I onto the court with our son to play in the layup line. They're not going to let us run onto the court and flex when our son gets a dunk. That's the only difference. But that's the perks of being LeBron James. Like, he's earned that in this world of celebrity worship. He can do some things that we wouldn't be able to do. I probably would have got escorted out of the game that I jumped onto the court for layup lines, or I probably would have got escorted out if I jumped onto the court after a dunk. But I ain't going to tell y'all if it ever comes to that one day. I'm not going to tell you that it wouldn't happen. I jump up now.
I've seen high school games. I've seen high school games where cats like, superstars or what have you are playing, and cats run on the court with something. I remember watching the game with DeJuan Wagner.
Especially AAU.
Yo, when DeJuan Wagner was coming up, and he was giving out all kinds of buckets and making certain moves, and like they have to like stop the game because family and friends running the court going crazy. Like that was, but none of them were as popular as say LeBron. But that's just something that happens, man.
Yeah. I'm saying, leave that man alone, man. Let that dude be a dad to his kid. It's all right. It's not that serious. All right, so before we get into these we got to go quick with these grind topics. Y'all can check out the website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, take your time, look around, just browse, see everything that we have to offer, everything that we're doing as a company. But if you want to get in on the conversation now, shout out to Neil, shout out to Skyview in the chat room. You can get in there with those guys, blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. If you don't have a profile, you can get a free one, or you can just sign into your Facebook and Twitter accounts. But make sure you click follow so you can get updates and reminders about the show every week. So if you want to holler at us, of course, that number, 323-410-0012, press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. What happened this week, Jim, while everybody was on the grind, while Trump was letting his Twitter hands go?
While you were on the grind is brought to you by Sports the Book. The bottom line is the greatest sports book ever written, and if you want to participate in this movement, you go to sportsthebook.com or go to our hub at warroomsports.com. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. But what happened while you were on the grind, right?
I've been promoting Sports the Book this week, man, because the conversations and our social media platforms be bringing me to wanting people to just have a better perspective on life and sports.
Listen, man.
Like, y'all gotta do better.
Someone told me at the joint I did this past weekend, man, like, yo, Table of Gods is the greatest thing ever. I was like, yeah, that might be my life's work. I might end up being known for that. Everything else I do in life, I'm going to be known for Table of Gods. But, yo.
Man, I literally told your man Court to go get the book probably yesterday because I'm so tired of the GOAT posts. Stop with the GOAT posts, man. I was like, look, man, it ain't no GOAT. Go read Sports the Book, man. Ain't no GOAT.
I'm disappointed in you, Court. You support what we do, man, but how you don't have a book yet, Court? You should be ashamed of yourself, man. Anyway, listen, man, this story right here is crazy to me, man. A case was dismissed against a 10-year-old who was originally charged with assault over a dodgeball game. A man got charged with assault over a dodgeball game.
He smacked a black kid, smacked a white kid in the face with a ball. See, I've heard different things, though. I saw a story today where they were kind of saying the whole dodgeball angle was kind of being hyped, sized, if you will. Shout out to the D.C. area. I forgot the name of the game that they said the kids were actually playing, but I read that, hitting people with the ball wasn't a part of it. But then on every other story I said, they went with the dodgeball angle. Even the kid's mom, who was, the kid that was charged with assault, she kept bringing up the dodgeball angle. So, I don't know. She said her son is not a criminal. If every child that played the game of dodgeball and threw a dodgeball at another kid was thrown in jail, the vast majority of our country would be behind bars. The only thing my son is guilty of is being a black boy. Let me say this real quick, Jen.
That's hard.
Because, they could have been playing dodgeball. But let's not all front, like, back in the day, school, camp, it wasn't always that bigger kid, that strong-ass bully, who even when the game was over, or even when the game was going on, like was aiming with all his might at your head when that's really not, what the game was about. I could probably see something like that being a part of this because they said he did it before. So this is probably like something that happened before. The kid probably can't defend himself, so they brought the police into it. Now, these charges, felony assault for that, like, no. You know what I'm saying? Let the school handle this. And not even anything crazy. All right, you can't go to recess tomorrow, or you get a detention or something like that.
All I'm going to say is this, right? For our listeners who may not know, like, me and Dev have known each other pretty much our whole lives. Me and Dev went to, like, kindergarten through, like, high school together. And the one thing I can say is this, because you got to keep it real for a second. when we used to be in like elementary school, and now granted it wasn't no white kids there because we went to all black private school. You know what I'm saying? Power to the people.
Power to the people.
But but the fact is, when we played the game, which is known in the Philadelphia area as suicide, we used to try to take each other's heads off. And I don't know if cats know what that is, right? It's supposed to be a long wall. You have a tennis ball. You throw it up against the wall. You try to catch it. But if you touch the ball and it drops, you got to run to the wall and say suicide. But the people would get a chance to hum the ball at you. We would try to decapitate. Each other.
First of all, we had no couth, and every time I look back on our childhood, I'm like more convinced that our parents didn't give a damn about us.
Yeah.
We did that, which was crazy. Dodgeball games back in the day were crazy, but like I said, you always had that kid, that rogue kid. You know, even if the dodgeball game, you know, somebody could call a timeout or something, and people could be talking, and he gonna hum the ball at somebody's head. Actually, seeing a dodgeball hit somebody's head is one of the funniest things I've ever seen, though, because it makes that sound. It makes that hollow sound like boom. So that's actually hilarious. This whole thing probably was funny as hell. But then, the little white boy probably started crying and made it serious. They then went and got the cops. You know how they do. But not only did we play suicide that Jimmy just told you about, we played tackle football in a parking lot with no grass, just a, blacktop. We played tackle football every day. A lot of that was kill the carrier, where that's just as bad because you throw the ball up, one person get it, and 12 other people are trying to tackle one person on concrete, and we wore uniforms. So we were out there in uniforms, full blazers, not just pants and a shirt like they wear now. We wore blazers. We were out there tackling each other on the concrete and playing suicide, humming tennis balls at people's heads. So, yeah.
It's funny because people play these games in different areas, and they always call it something different. Like the game where you throw the ball up, whoever gets it. Like, I've heard people refer to that in, 18 different ways. It's called different things. Killer Man. I've heard all kinds of names for it. But,
Killer Man, Kill the Carrier.
Yeah. Suicide is crazy because, first of all, you're playing a game called Suicide. Like, think about that. You're playing a game called Suicide, but we used to try to take each other's heads off. And I'm sitting there now as an adult, we probably all gave each other CTE. But the fact of the matter is, you're a kid, you do dumb stuff. I don't know if the cops got to be involved. That's what's crazy to me.
We used to play basketball. We used to play basketball on electrical wires. There'd be telephone wires behind the row houses in Philly.
Yeah.
Probably, what do you think, 3-4 inches away from the wall? That turned into a hoop. You play with a tennis ball. You're playing basketball with a tennis ball, and you're trying to throw the ball in between the wall and the phone wire. Childhood was stupid. Thinking back then, we sound mad poor, right? we couldn't get a hoop. Like, we playing wall ball.
Man, it is what it is, man. But it's funny because with this story, right, I'm glad that everything, he didn't get charged or what have you, although he's probably scarred for the rest of his life. But, there's always sometimes there's people that call the cops, too, and the cops just don't need to be called. Like the cats that be playing in LA Fitness and get fouled too hard. Remember the boy LA Fitness got fouled too hard and straight called the police? Like, ball fouled.
And then sat out there and argued with, come on.
Ball fouled me.
It's getting ridiculous, man. It's definitely getting ridiculous. And then, I gave everybody a story, a could have been type story, just because we've seen dudes like that. But this could have been a joint where they were really playing dodgeball and the dude is just too slow. And when you try to duck, that's your fault, really. If you're trying to duck in dodgeball and the ball hits you in your head or your upper extremity, that's your fault for trying to duck. So
that joint said, you know that.
That sound was so crazy.
Yeah.
That sound was so crazy.
Oh, man.
But
Real quick, though, how about this other story? This Texas man accused the Cowboys of police cover-up regarding a car accident with Ezekiel Elliott. This is a crazy story. I think
this was back in 2017.
But that's what teams supposed to do. They supposed to look out for their players. If they didn't try to cover it up, they get him a bad rap. It is what it is.
Right. How you going to get a free agent if you don't try to cover up this car accident? Like, come on, man. How you expect people to sign with the Cowboys? So apparently Zeke was speeding trying to get to the practice facility right before their playoff game against the Packers in 2017. They said he sideswiped this dude so hard that their cars got stuck together, and the tow truck had to come pry the cars away from each other. So they told dude, his running backs coach drove out to the scene, told the homie, Dallas Cowboys are going to take care of all of this. And they basically Equifaxed him. They burnt him. So now, originally he was suing Zeke for $1 million, but now he got the whole Cowboys involved, and he going for $20 million. So look, Cowboys did the right thing. At least they promised the right thing. You cover up for your players.
Yeah, but you can't.
And then, dude, you're doing the right thing. Go out there and try to get you a money grab. Everybody doing the right thing as far as I'm concerned.
My thing is, though, like, you did the right thing as a Cowboys, but you can't ass bet nobody when your man is clearly in violation. You got to pay that tab, dog.
Yeah, you definitely can. But remember, Jim, I said the running backs coach. So he probably didn't even have the power to make that promise. He probably went back to the office, and Jerry's like, man, if you don't get the f*** out of here with that. he probably asked him, like, what's your name again? Like, man, if you don't go ahead with that.
Yo, he probably told him, like, I told him we'll cover it, Jerry. He's like, why you do that?
Like, man, go ahead.
Yeah, this story's out of control, man. Out of control, man. Listen, man. I should call this section the hashtag What a Time to Be Alive section. A 16-year-old Fortnite World Cup champion has won over $3 million by winning the World Championship in Fortnite. Crazy part about this is, from what I read, the person that came in second place got $1 million, and the person in third place got like $900K. So it's like, yo,
this story is relevant here in the war room because Jimmy's always telling me to ease up on my son. Because he's always on YouTube watching these virgin nerds in their mom's basement, just play games all day. And Jimmy's telling me, how much money is in this stuff these days. But it's like one of those things where even with the money being involved, first of all, my level of maturity will never, it'll never be to a level where I don't make fun of dudes like that.
Here's the thing, right?
Cash now. They're just nerds with money now, but that's a lot of money.
Here's the thing for our listeners. All of us at some point are part of the Get Off Our Lawn gang, but Dev is the president, CEO, and Dev is the supreme Get Off My Lawn gang. What I recognize about esports, and it's going to be weird to see how we trade, how long we do this war room thing is going to be hilarious because if we do this when we're late 50s, 60s, it's going to be funny because the sports world is changing to the point where esports is becoming like a legitimate thing. I know that sounds crazy.
I know. We're going to have to talk about it. We're going to have to cover this stuff.
Yo, it's going to sound crazy even to this day, but I remember people saying MMA is a fringe sport, is not legitimate. And now, it is what it is. But the money, put it like this, when you see guys like Robert Kraft invest millions of dollars into the infrastructure of esports, you know that, all right, they're seeing something. So the money is as high as it is. Like, people are, taking this stuff legitimate. There's teams, there's travel teams, there's tournaments.
They're going to get a bananas television contract. What?
I'm just pissed because all the time I spent playing Metroid and all that, I can't, I ain't gonna
get
make no
down
bread.
For it. All we did was lose brain cells. They up here getting bread.
I lost half my brain cells.
Yeah, Metroid was hard to beat, man. That took a lot of time and precision.
My mom saying, "You gonna ruin the TV with that video game system?" Like, huh? Yo, shout out to the boy. Shout out to the boy Kurt who used to live on my block, man. I remember one time in his crib, his mom was like, look, either y'all going to watch TV or play the game, but y'all can't run my electricity up and do both. I'm like, so how are we supposed to play the game without the TV, though?
Without the TV?
What sense is that?
Parents used to say anything to try to get us off the game. They'll say anything to try to get us off the game.
But times are changing, man. Times are definitely changing, man. So we're going to keep following this and see how much bread is out there, man. Free Chase, man. Let Chase make a YouTube channel and get that bread, man.
Well, when I started the show, he was at home playing. Matter of fact, they got a joint now. I haven't even looked at it yet, but he got Mario Maker 2, where you can make your own Mario levels and then play the joint. So I'm like, I hope it's not simple. I hope they're teaching him how to code or something like that. Like,
dog. And you know, it's crazy because to me that was probably Google's smartest decision was buying YouTube because the next generation, they don't even care about TV. I know. And here's the funny thing, right? So, and shout out to everybody in Philly because we giving our free camp starting this Sunday. So bring all your kids to our free finance camp. If you don't know what it's about, just inbox me. But anyway, during that camp, I learned a lot about like the behavior of children, right? So I watch a lot of YouTube. Like I watch a lot of YouTube, and you know you can look at your phone and see how much time you spent on YouTube. So sometimes I joke with some of the kids in our camp, right? And I look at their phone, and it's like, yo, like when do you sleep?
Like you
they be averaging like 12 hours a day, like 12, 15, 20 hours a day on YouTube. Like,
well, you also know
on
most phones, YouTube will keep playing in the background, so they probably just always got it on. Like,
and I'm like, yo, how crazy is that? So like, it's just technology. We always talk about how social media has changed sports, but technology in general has changed culture to the point where, man, you know, millions are made on YouTube. But anyway. Speaking of technology,
I mean, I
right?
got 2 3-year-olds and now an 8-year-old. They don't watch anything except for YouTube and Netflix. That's all they watch.
Which
streaming
at
that young age, you know, they already know how to work the stuff, and you don't know how they know how, but they do. Like, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they don't care about traditional TV.
Right. They know the logos.
Yo.
One of my daughters, Eva, her thing is anybody who comes to the house, she's confiscating your phone. She's looking for the YouTube logo. She's hitting it, and she's watching YouTube on your phone.
Dog, shout out to Eva, yo. Eva's the boss of the crib. I remember you saying that, but having stayed at the crib for a weekend.
Yeah,
yo, I saw
it.
Yo, she's definitely she's boss baby. But
she confiscates phones. She told Monica what she could and could not wear in the house.
Yo, she's a straight gangster, yo. Your daughter's a G. But
she's scared of Scar. She told Monica she gotta take that Lion King shirt off. You gotta take that off.
Yo, but speaking of like technology, right? So one of the things about technology is gambling. Gambling is, you know, is rampant. You know, go to mybookie.ag and use our code. But listen to this bet that was just placed. Somebody placed a massive bet on the Sixers playoff chance, a 6-figure bet. And from my understanding, when I was reading a couple articles, that all they're looking to win is $2,000.
Yo, man, I'm looking at this right now. This story, this is not his first time. They never released his name, but the casino confirmed that this is the same person who made a huge bet on the Golden State Warriors last year. Remember, people, Jimmy didn't say to win the finals, to get to the finals. He is placing 6-figure bets on a team making the playoffs. Like, duh, the Sixers are going to make the playoffs. Like, come on, dude. Like, their plane got to crash, and they got to play with scab replacement players for them at this point to not make the playoffs in the East.
Dog,
$100,000 bet, $100,500 bet on the Sixers to make the playoffs at a minus 5,000 odds. He's going to make $2,010. Now, last season, he did the same thing with the Warriors. He placed a $67,000 bet that they would make the playoffs, and he won $670.
Dog, yo, you're talking about getting 2% of your money. You can literally sit your money in an ally account and make more than that.
Yeah, you know what this is, though?
I'm not even talking about investing it. Like
this is a cat with new money. He got a little bit of money. He wants to go to Vegas probably with his friends. He's probably young. He goes there and wants to look like he's throwing around money. I'm going to throw $100,000 on something.
Or
pick something with the easiest odds in the world. And the people he's with probably didn't know what he stood to win, but now that it's all over the news, like they probably like, oh, look at this cat.
I just thought about something else. Maybe he's a little genius, right? Maybe you know how when you gamble at a casino, when you use your like loyalty cards and all that, they measure it by the amount of money that you gamble.
By the amount of money you spend.
Oh, so maybe
gonna do
he
everything
figured out a way to
at the casino.
Yeah. So
free
maybe
meals,
he got money to set aside. Oh, maybe he figured that out. Maybe he's smarter than we think. He's like, look, I'm not gonna lose my money, but I'm gonna live like a first class in the casino for the rest of the year. Maybe he's smarter than you think.
I don't know how casinos work because I've never been a gambling dude. I don't know, how they're insured. I don't know if I just don't know how everything works. But I'm not trying to give away I'm not trying to hand another person $100,000 of my money if in 9 months from now I only stand to make $2,000. What if this casino burned down? Are they insured with the FDIC? Like how does this work? Am I gonna get my money back from this bet, or is my ticket gonna burn up and they're gonna act like they never,
Well, the
reason
the casinos never burn down. Casinos always win. Like, you can't beat the casinos. Like, and if you want to get into the analytics of it, the reason people can't beat the casinos is because no one has the kind of money or leverage to bet enough to break a casino. But with that being said,
that's a good reason to burn one down, though, because you always go there and the house always wins.
Even if you burn one down, as long as you have your ticket, you're good. But my point is, I was just sitting there thinking about that because I do know from, I gamble at the casino playing poker. But when you have your loyalty card, they only measure the amount of, like, a quote unquote what they call a whale, the kind of whale you are about the amount of money that you bet or gamble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now,
I've done, I used to play roulette a little bit. That was like the extent of my casino gambling. I would play roulette, and like you said, if you're using the card, you end up getting a free buffet. This dude probably get free rooms, penthouse suites.
So he probably figured out a little. Little cheat code. But at the end of the day, now that they're putting you out of the news, they're gonna end that. Casinos aren't in the business of giving anything away. So you probably ruined it for a bunch of other people.
This dude making bets that you can't lose.
But he probably.
How salty is he gonna be if the Sixers have a bunch of injuries or something? They don't make the playoffs.
But funny thing is, they put it out there the last 2 years. He probably's been doing this, and he's probably been living like in suites and all kinds of craziness. Free buffet, shout out to the Harris Buffet in Atlantic City. That Harris Buffet is off the chain. The best people here or there. But at the same time, he's probably been taking advantage of this for years, and he probably just caught on to his system.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Because outside of that, you can literally put it in the Ally account and make more money than you are with this. So that's the only thing I can think of, man. So that's a crazy story right there, man. Man. You want to give birthday shout-outs?
Yeah, quick birthdays before we finish off with these few NFL stories. And birthdays are brought to you by no one, so let's get right into them. Birthday shout-out to the homie, Edgerrin James. Edgerrin James was one of my favorite running backs during his era when he was
tough. He's tough.
He was in the league. Yeah, definitely tough. Gold teeth bull from Miami.
He's like a bootleg Marshall Faulk. Although I don't want to call him.
Didn't they get traded for each other at one point?
Yeah, it sounds disparaging, but I don't mean it that way. Just that Marshall Faulk was like, next level, but Edgerrin was like right there, but Marshall had like another level.
Called that boy bootleg. I mean, that's why they, got traded for each other, because they figured, all right, we can bring him here and he can do the same thing as Marshall on a lower level for less money.
And it worked out for both people. It actually worked out for both of them.
Yeah, well, it ain't end up working out for Edgerrin because he gave some blood, sweat, and tears for them, and then he left right before
they won a chip. They won a chip. Yeah, they won a chip without him.
Because they had what was the dude? They had the African running back who was all right.
Oh, they had the boy that everybody thought he was gonna be good. Yeah, he was juice.
He was all right for a while, and then he turned into some sauce. So shout out to Edge, Stacey Augmon, talking about
Classic
people
man.
that can't shoot but could play some defense and could slash. Stacey Augmon, shout out to
Fire
him.
nickname though.
And he's 51 years old today. Shout out to the Plastic Man. And a rest in peace birthday shout out to former heavyweight champion Trevor Berbick. Before Mike Tyson destroyed his brain, he was born August 1st, 1954, and he died October 28th, 2006. So rest in power to him. We like to give a war room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays. Salute.
His soul left his body the year before that though when he fought Tyson. I saw his soul leave the ring. So
Tyson beat the Man. I'm telling you, that was that pit bull Mike Tyson, man. If it wasn't for the drugs and the lifestyle and just being Mike, what could have been. I think I don't know if a week goes by where I don't talk about what Mike Tyson could have been and should have been.
I don't think that Mike Tyson might be the greatest entertainer of my lifetime because, like, I don't know if I talk about every week what he could have been, but I think that there's not a week that goes by where
but you talk about
he somehow,
for some reason.
Yeah, even to this day, his podcast is crazy because he's Mike Tyson. Like, and Mike Tyson is like full bipolar in his podcast where he'll go from like angry to loving his guests to crying to. He goes full
Which
Mike
is
Tyson
why
podcast,
I always said I would never, like as big as a Mike Tyson stan as I am, I would never ever want to be in his presence because, like, he goes from like loving you to y'all on the floor scrapping. He beating like him and Whack 100 rumbled at the podcast.
Yeah, Too Short had a story where he says Tupac was like that. He said, and like, he said he was cool with Pac, but a lot of times he didn't want to be. He said, because you don't know which Pac you get. And he was like, but the thing is, all of them were him. He said Pac would have like come in and be on some like black empowerment. He was
revolutionary
like,
Pac.
He said next day he was seeing him. He was like, yo, with a cigarette, he wants cigarettes, Hennessy, and some hookers. Like
he trying to ride on his enemies.
Yeah, he was like, but the thing is, regardless, whatever one he was in, he was 100% that at that time. I'm like, yo.
I wouldn't be afraid of that though, because I'll Pac up. He a little dude.
That's because Mike swing them hooks though. That's different.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Mike a different dude. Like I don't want to be in the vicinity when Mike turned into crazy Mike. That's why I remember, some years back when we were trying to put on the full court press to try to find him and get him on our show. It definitely would have had to be, a remote interview. Like I'm not sitting in the same place as Mike. I would love to for a photo op, but it had to be real quick. Let's take this picture, and then I'll call you. And we record the interview over the phone.
And I always tell the story. I met Mike Tyson one time in my life, and the crazy part is Mike was in Philly by himself in the streets. Like, and but he was nice Mike that day, and he was like, I don't know what he was doing. 'Cause he wasn't even like the hood. He was like in Center City, but he was just chilling. And like I was out there. This was years ago. I was with my grandmother.
Well,
he was like so nice to her.
I said the coke man, not the crack man. Mike smoked.
That's true.
Mike
that's true too. That's true too. But he was like the nicest guy that day. Like he was talking to my grandmother. And he was like so nice to her and everything. I was like, all right, it's nice, Mike.
And that might be a thing too. Like if you're around Mike with your grandmother, that might be safe.
Yeah,
got a little respect.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't.
Because I've had athletes straight cuss me out and go full nasty to me. Like and I mentioned in Sports the Book, Andre Dawson. I don't like him to this day.
Because I ain't gonna front. As much as me, you, and B. Austin are fans, like the interview probably would have been. It probably have been a lot of softballs. I'm pretty sure we would have asked him something that would have set him off. So we went from all love to Tyson versus Whack. I ain't ready for that. And is it worth it these days? Because he ain't rich like he used to be. He getting his coins back up, but he ain't what he used to be. So it ain't even worth taking that punch.
What was the best yams you got when you was in your prime? He might have snapped.
Yeah, I know. Well, you don't disrespect the women like that. Don't talk about yams. And then afterwards, Mike started talking. Then a woman walks by, and Mike was like, "Ooh, I like to get up in them yams." Mike, you just tried to fight me over that.
That's the kind of dude he was. That's the kind of dude he was. So anyway, man, real quick, let's get into at least a couple of stories. And then you want to talk about the NFL real quick. We only got a couple minutes, and that's brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Bottom line with this, if you need a website, go to digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. Get the hookup and get you a website. But we got to talk about at least one of these stories. I want to see how you feel about this before we get out of here. And that's Michael Thomas, right? I want to ask you about Michael Thomas because I don't trust a man with two first names like that. But he is now the highest paid wide receiver in the history of the NFL. 5 years, $100 million. $61 million of that is guaranteed. What do you think about this? Do you think he's worthy of being the highest paid NFL receiver?
I guess the only way you can answer that is to say, like, do you think he's the best receiver in the league? I do not. But he's somewhere in the top 5. So in the NFL, that's how it is. If you're at the top 5 of your position, it's basically who gets the contract the latest. If somebody gets a contract after him, then it's going to be them. You know what I'm saying? I think, did DeAndre Hopkins already get paid? Because did he get paid recently?
He did, but man, he had to go back to the table after this though.
I was about to say, because a cat like that, I'd put DeAndre Hopkins over him. Michael Thomas has hands. I believe, was it him or Hopkins? One of them, and I think it was Michael Thomas, had 0 drops last year.
That's
crazy. His catch radius is crazy. His hands are crazy.
Nuts.
His speed is average. To be a top 5 receiver and to get all of that money to run like a 4.6, that's crazy. But it shows you that it's not all about 40 times anymore. He can run a route. His hands are ridiculous. Look at Fitzgerald. He's been one of the best receivers in the league for over a decade.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Speed
is
always the answer.
T.O. went in the Hall of Fame recently, and T.O. used to have 3 drops a game. He can't catch it all. To hear someone go a whole season without a drop is absolutely insane. Salute to him. But it's funny because there was a meme going around recently with a couple of different NFL receivers and asking who was the best. And I don't think I've seen anyone say Michael Thomas is the best in the league. Not one person. You know what I'm saying? It's funny when not one person thinks you're the best.
And then a lot of people, what I hear when his name comes up, you know how people hold it against you because of who you play with? You got Drew Brees throwing him the ball. It's accurate like that. He better catch him. You hear stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
But, these are human beings. Error is a part of being a human. And, to be able to haul in damn near everything that comes your way, that's crazy. But, he's 26 years old, and this is an extension. He's only set to make $1.15 million in 2019. That's the final year of his rookie contract. So he's gonna make $1 million this year, and then it's gonna get crazy the years after that at $20 million per, and the signing bonus. Not the signing bonus, but 61 in guaranteed money, like you said.
Listen, man, I just want to say congratulations to that brother, man, because the one thing when you see someone who's that skilled, right? Because he's a skilled guy. He's not using ultra athleticism. So what that tells me is he puts an uber amount of work.
Yeah. So I guess Jalen Ramsey, he came to Jags camp in a Brinks truck, and Michael Thomas left in one. Thomas
more or less.
His money. Yeah, you drove up in it, and I rode away in it.
Yo, real quick before we get out of here, though, what do you think about what's going on with the Giants, man? It seems like their season is over already, and nothing's happened yet.
Well, unless they got, you and Tobias talked about earlier, unless their offensive line and defensive lines are much improved, then they still got an opportunity to do something. But this we've seen before, just not this early and all at once. Remember a couple years ago? I don't know, because you probably weren't even banging with football like that, but you know all the stories. How they started, Odell got hurt. I think Shepard was there at that time. He got hurt. Everybody started getting hurt. But now it's happening in camp. So you trade away Odell Beckham, and then the first day of camp, Corey Coleman tears his ACL. And then 2 days later, Sterling Shepard fractures his thumb. And then 2 days later, Golden Tate gets popped for violating the NFL's PED policy. They're down to 3 receivers, none of which anybody's ever heard of before, unless you're a super football purist. So, man, shout out to Eli, because the receivers are claiming Eli's having a resurgence, probably because, they done drafted his replacement. But he don't have nobody to throw to for a while.
Yo, Eli's clapback at Odell was kind of funny, though. I ain't going to hold you. We won some games before him, some big games. Damn.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Because he did try to say, this team was trash for the last 6 years. I'm the only reason people came to the game. He said something, paraphrasing, but something along those lines. So, that clapback was inevitable. Shout out to them, man. We gotta get up out of this piece.
Yeah,
shout out to Jerry Jones
here,
for disrespecting Zeke, saying we don't need a Russian champion to win the Super Bowl.
First you were on ass bet, not take care of him. Now you trying to disrespect him. But anyway, thank you, brothers, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter. Shout out to everybody who tried to get through. We didn't get a chance to get to. As you can see, we just run out of time. But we appreciate the support as always, man. We definitely do. Listen, catch us next week, man. We're going to be right back here talking everything happening in the world of sports. Follow everything we do at our hub, which is warroomsports.com. All of our social media, all of our content, everything can be found at that hub. Again, that's warroomsports.com. Also, pick up my book, Sports the Book, at sportsthebook.com or warroomsports.com. But as we say, listen, until next time, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dez, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dez, PJ, Shot Back, B. Austin. I'm Jock. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.